And welcome, folks, to Champions for Life. I am your host, Ken Wilson, and we have a wonderful, wonderful show for you today during this Christmas season. Just so delighted we have the wonderful guest, pastor and chairman of First Choice Pregnancy Services, Howell Shaw. Mr. Pastor Shaw, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you so much.
And it's going to be awesome.
I'm looking forward to this. Yeah,
it's going to be great. It's going to be a great show. We got a lot of wonderful things that we're going to be talking about, including, I can't stop talking about it, the fact that we are planning to open now our second clinic, second First Choice Pregnancy Services. Isn't that just awesome?
Praise the Lord.
It's going to be, we're looking at perhaps twice the size of our current clinic. Mm-hmm. Oh man, the Lord is good all the time.
And in the right neighborhood too.
In the right neighborhood. It's just going to be good. So we have a lot of other good news for you today. But we've got great stuff that's, we have just given you a highlight. The defunding of Planned Parenthood is going to continue in the big, beautiful bill. You saw that happening through Medicaid.
Hallelujah. I voted for this.
It's right. And the Health and Human Services Department is actually going to be investigating discrimination against pro-life doctors. So, for example, if you remember, our own Dr. Hamza went through a lot of stuff, but a lot of doctors who are training to become in the medical profession, a lot of times it's considered important that they learn how to do the abortion procedure, and if they don't, a lot of times they feel like they've been discriminated against. That's going to end. And we also Senator James Lackford, who's a Republican out of Oklahoma, has submitted a great bill called the Conscience Protections for Medical Residents Act. That is going to be happening. It's also going to be protecting doctors who are training to become doctors and do not wish to participate in abortion. And any discrimination there should end through the legislative side. So it's all good news today. It's really, really good. But on top of it all is our pastor and chairman, Howell Shaw. Welcome to the broadcast, sir.
Thank you so much. It's an honor and a privilege to be here. So.
You have an event coming up. Now, this isn't your event.
No, I share this, definitely. Although I'm the one that's carrying the weight because I'm the director of the conference, yes.
Oh, you are? Okay, yeah. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm,
and the name of this conference is
Battle-Born Freedom Conference.
There it is. For those of you who are watching us via Rumble or YouTube or on Facebook, there it is right there. For those of you listening on KKVV, the Battle-Born Conference is going to be Saturday, January 10th from 9 a.m. all the way to 8 p.m., and you've got this thing jam-packed with heavy hitters.
Indeed. First of all, I just got to say that God is the one that's actually putting the program together. I'm just the one that's making the phone calls. So God is doing this. You need to show up. And with that said, I just want to say just quickly, everyone knows Charlie Kirk, and obviously we miss him dearly.
Yes, we do.
But if you remember that very day in Utah, he was wearing a shirt. Do you remember what that shirt said on it?
Freedom.
Freedom. That's right. And that's why this is the Battle-Born Freedom Conference. We're doing this really to honor Charlie's legacy and his memory. So this is for Charlie. And from the Bible, if you look at John 8:31b to 32, it says, "And you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free."
Amen.
That's why this is the Battle-Born Freedom Conference, because we're going to be delivering you the truth straight up. Okay. And it's going to be an amazing conference. For those of you that are familiar with Patriot Academy, or even Flashpoint, you all know the word, the name Rick Green. Oh, yeah. He's the founder of Patriot Academy. And, he started his legacy back as a representative in the House in Texas. Really go-getter, and he was a lawyer and studied constitutional law. But what he realized was that most of the people that he was serving with didn't know the Constitution at all. So him kind of being, a natural-born teacher and kind of stand-up comic, he actually started doing Constitution classes for folks. And that's what became Constitution Alive. People loved his style, loved his delivery. The old joke is, this is the position that most people take in history class. Right?
That's right.
But what Rick does is he actually makes history interesting and exciting and actually really relevant for today. So, his success it was God ordained. And he's really one of the top voices right now in the Christian conservative movement. So the very fact that we have Rick Green being our keynote speaker is amazing. As a matter of fact, the 250th birthday of the country is coming up, and he's very, very active in that whole process with the administration. He actually created a brand new curriculum. Let me step back a bit. Patriot Academy basically has two main curriculums. It's Constitution Live, which is learning all about the Constitution, the real Constitution, and the real founding fathers who actually wrote it. And then there's another one called Biblical Citizenship. And that one's really, really important too, because as Rick was teaching the Constitution, in his studies, what he realized was that Constitution was actually based upon God's principles. It wasn't some kind of a secular understanding. People say, oh, you borrowed from Rome, borrowed from Greece. Well, that may all be true, but the whole thing is based upon God's word. In Genesis and Exodus, God gave us very, very specific foundations of understanding. So the founding fathers, all being Christians, so don't buy the lie that they were not Christians, because they actually were. Because if you actually read their writings for one another, it's obvious that they were talking about putting Jesus in everything that they did. Jesus, not just God. Jesus. It's the Christian faith that founded this country. So anyways, so Rick thought, well, this is a natural to bring it to churches. But when he went out to talk to churches about doing Constitution Live, they all said, oh, so I'm sorry, Rick, this sounds really good, but, there's that separation of church and state. The church kind of has to stay in the church lane. The government stays in the government lane, the politics.
Yep.
Never do they cross.
Mm-hmm.
And Rick says, no, that's not what's in the Bible. And so biblical citizenship was born out of that need to actually train Christians how it is actually God's call on our lives to participate in the public square. When Jesus says, be salt in the world. Well, how can you not be salt? How can you be salt if you don't get out of the salt shaker, right? And be the light in the world. Well, that means you got to go out into the darkness.
Certainly.
Right? And that means you got to deal with politics. And what's the greatest commandment? Love God, right? With all your heart, your soul, your mind, your strength. And then love your what? Neighbor as yourself.
Absolutely. And that's a commandment.
That's a commandment. And if you allow ungodly laws to come and affect your neighbor, is that loving them?
No, it's not.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely not.
And then think of it this way. Jesus is king. Jesus is Lord. So what part of our lives is Jesus not Lord over? Jesus' dominion does not magically stop at, creating laws. As a matter of fact, he wants us to be part of that process to create the laws, because those are the laws that carry God's principles.
Absolutely. I
So
mean, the gospel extends beyond the church walls as well.
Absolutely.
And into our lives, into politics, into our job sites, into our communities, in every aspect of our life. And that's the way it was intended.
Incredibly correct. So now for the 250th, though, they just released a brand new curriculum called Rebuilding Liberty. And this is important because it actually is keying off of the Declaration of Independence this time. So instead of diving deep in Constitution, it is now looking at the Declaration of Independence, and then what we as patriots need to do in order to maintain our country, not for this first 250 years, but for the next 250 years. So with that all said, he is super busy doing all of these things, getting out there, teaching this new curriculum. So for us to get him to our conference here in this year and be the keynote, that was a miracle.
Huge.
You guys, that was a miracle. And once we had Rick, then we also have Tim Barton coming. Now, if you guys know wall builders, you know Dave and Tim Barton. They are certainly the foremost historians of the Revolutionary era. And they literally have over 400,000 artifacts of history in their own private library. Now, with that, though, they are teaming up with Glenn Beck. And Glenn's got an organization called Mercury One. And they put together this thing called American Journey Experience. And at our conference, you notice the logo up there. It's the one with the little buffalo on it. So American Journey Experience is a separate organization. So even though they're a part of our conference and that they're co-locating, you do need to buy a separate ticket for them, because what they are doing is they're bringing a selection of these artifacts to us. They literally bring the museum to us instead of us having to go to the museum. So it's going to be outstanding.
Well, wait a minute. So it's in conjunction with this conference.
Exactly.
And so we get another small entry fee into a mini museum, if you will?
Yes.
Well, this is cool. As long as the price isn't too expensive.
No, I think it's like $20.
That's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because they'll have docents there and they will explain each piece to you, its significance in our history. And it's going to be powerful. You will see.
That's exciting.
Yes. So as it turns out, we're going to be at Calvary Red Rock Church, Pastor Greg Seymour's place. And their layout is perfect for this because the main conference will be in the main church. But if you didn't know, they actually have a CrossFit gym there as well. It's a separate entrance. It's kind of a separate. It's in the same building, but that's the venue then for American Journey Experience.
Oh, awesome.
So it's going to be great. All right. Now, the other thing though is obviously a lot of people are going to be there for the conference, and it is a full day thing, as you said.
I can see.
Yeah. So registration starts at 8 a.m. We serve a continental breakfast. The actual conference will begin promptly at 9 because we have so much to do, and we're going to go basically nonstop till 6 o'clock. We will take a coffee break, bathroom breaks. We will be serving you a boxed lunch. Got some really yummy sandwiches and salads that we'll have, and then another coffee break in the afternoon. But then at 6, the conference is over. We'll have lots and lots of great exhibitors there as well. So these are people that you want to get connected with, some really excellent Christian firms, as well as, well, obviously we'll have a bunch of candidates there too, because they would love to meet you as their constituents. But at 6 o'clock, though, we have a special meal and reception for the VIP ticket holders. And that is literally limited to only 80 people, because that's all we can really fit into the room, okay? But what's special is that these 80 people are going to be sitting with the speakers. I'll have a speaker at each of the tables.
Oh, boy.
You go sit at the table. You want to get to know, the person there.
Oh, gee.
So this is face-to-face, intimate time with these incredible people. So this is something you really need to show up for, if you're at all interested in this. And at the end of dinner, we're going to also have a panel discussion while taking questions from the floor, basically, only of the people that are at the dinner. And it's just going to be a phenomenal day. Phenomenal.
So you've got Steve Dace going to be there. Bill Federer. Haram Sassar is going to be there.
Indeed.
Stavros Anthony, Melissa Clement from Nevada Right to Life is going to be there. Pastor Greg Seymour, Tanya Atterbury, who's been on this broadcast, by the way, and John Patrick. And who is running for assembly?
No, he ran for assembly. I think he's still praying about running.
Whether he's going to run again?
Or not,
Awesome.
But Dr. John is an amazing man because he's a super successful entrepreneur. He has many. He does chiropractic. Okay. So, he's already a healer, but he's also on the side an expert in Nevada Constitution. So, he and I, we were getting together because we wanted to do something like Constitution Live, but for Nevada, So awesome. That project is still kind of, on the side burner because lots has happened.
Sure.
And I'm just very excited that Dr. John is going to be our MC because he'll be the one that's kind of in charge of the flow and everything. And it's going to be awesome.
My goodness. All right. Awesome. So now listen, if you're interested in going to this conference, now there is an early bird VIP for the entire thing. Now, does this, the early bird VIP is $225 per person. It's $225. Now, keep in mind, this is all day, and they're going to serve you dinner at the end as well. Does this $225 include the American Journey experience?
It does not. But again, it's a separate thing because they operate on a separate
free up $250 because if you're going to do everything, then do everything. You're going to want to see, definitely going to want to see Tim Barton's display from his museum. It's going to be fascinating.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
And so you want to do that. But here's the thing: an early bird VIP. This is until the 15th of this month, which is just a few more days.
5 days.
Is $225. From there, it's going to go up. because the space is limited. Now say, okay, Ken, but I only want to go just for the conference. I don't have time for the whole thing. It's $40 for the early bird now. Again, early bird price, $40. And that for the general conference, is that also going to take you from what time to what time?
So that's going to be, again, registration starts at 8, get your breakfast. The conference starts at 9, and then you'll be done at 6.
Okay, at 6 p.m.
Yep.
Okay, and that's just for $40. So for $40, if you can get it, you're going to have most of what everyone is going to see and experience. Going to get to see and hear all these wonderful folks speak. You want to be a part. So how and where do we pay?
Okay, so you would go online, and actually, before I do that, I do want to also mention that because I really want to reach the pastors, the great calling I think that the Lord has on my life right now is to unify the church here in Clark County. Because truly, from a political point of view, if all the people in the churches would actually go vote, we would have a godly government.
Yeah.
The problem is evangelical Christians, for some reason, only 50%, from what I understand, there's like 100,000 evangelical Christians just here in Clark County. Of that, only 50% are even registered to vote.
It's just a crying shame.
Okay. And then of that 50%, only half of them go vote.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why the progressives are winning. That's the reason why the devil is winning, is because the people of God aren't showing up.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And unfortunately, some of it is because of bad teaching. Again, we've been taught separation of church and state. Well, what you're going to learn is that is a complete misunderstanding. Yeah. Yes, there is a separation, but it is the state not to interfere with the church.
Right.
Not the other way around.
Exactly right.
So people have got it all mixed up. But again, the devil is really wily. He was able to get this through, in the Supreme Court. And then we got this Johnson Amendment thing, which affects, pastors because of their 501c3. Because, in the 501c regulations, you're not supposed to be political in the pulpit. It's all a crock. It's all a crock. It's all a lie. And what you're going to learn, Hiram Sasser is one of the speakers we have. He is actually one of the lead attorneys for a case that was brought before the Supreme Court. For you guys that remember, there's a football coach up in Washington. His name is Joe Kennedy. He got fired for praying on the 50-yard line.
Yep.
It was all volunteer. Like, you didn't force anybody, but for some reason, because of that separation of church and state, he was let go. Well, Joe is actually a Marine, and he was a fighter. So he fought this thing
on the wrong
all
guy.
the way up to the Supreme Court. Hiram Sasser, as a lead attorney for First Liberty Institute, they were the ones that actually took his case, and they won.
There you go.
And because of that, all this misunderstanding of separation of church and state has literally been thrown out. It is no longer valid. The problem is nobody knows it. And that's where we're at right now. So that's why it's so important to come and hear what Hiram has to say. And he'll give you the whole legal background of why this whole thing called the Lemon Test, if you're familiar with that, has been completely abolished, is no longer in effect.
All right, so pastors, do pastors get a special discount?
Yes, and because I want the pastors to come and hear it, you guys get it only for $25.
That's amazing. So, hey, listen, if you're listening to this broadcast right now and you would like to bless a Christmas blessing for your pastor, what a perfect opportunity, but you've got to do it quickly. You can buy your pastor a ticket just to the conference, $25, and he can see most of the conference.
Yep.
Right? And it's going to be, and we're still going to serve you breakfast. Do I understand?
Breakfast and lunch.
So it's going to be breakfast and lunch, and you're going to be a part of the conference, and you're going to hear all these wonderful speakers, and your pastor is going to get, I won't say re-educated, but he's going to get informed about the liberties that we have now in our Constitution, both in our federal Constitution and in our Nevada Constitution, about the liberties we have and the freedom that we have to speak about our beliefs, and again, to promote the gospel throughout all portions of our community and society, as we should be doing anyway.
Amen.
Without fear.
Absolutely.
Of retribution by our government or anyone else.
Absolutely.
So this is great. So buy your pastor a ticket to this conference.
That would be wonderful. Great Christmas gift.
It would be fantastic.
Maybe buy 2 for his wife too.
All right. So
for him and for his wife.
Yes, great idea. And so if if you're watching via YouTube or Rumble or Facebook, you can see the QR code. For those who are listening over the radio, is there a number that we can call to get them registered?
Unfortunately, it's all online, but let's see.
All right. So what you can do is, if you're in Facebook and you have a Facebook account, you can go to Battle-Born Freedom Conference. Battle-Born Freedom Conference, and it will come up, and you'll be able to see all the info. You'll see this graphic, which you can't see on the radio, but you'll be able to see everything that you need to get yourself registered. You'll see the QR code. You'll be able to have links that you can click on and get yourself registered for this conference. Remember now, the early bird specials, both for general admission, is going to be $40. Early bird VIP for the entire thing is $225, but that only lasts until the 15th. It's only good for a few more days.
That's
so
right.
you have to do it now. That price goes up after that to $50 and $250 respectively. So listen, get this in, get it in before you finish your Christmas shopping.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And make sure that you're ready, set to go, because this is going to be fantastic.
Indeed. And for any business owners that are out there, this is a great way for you to get to meet fellow Christians and possible clients or customers. So we do have sponsorship programs available as well. So with that, go ahead and if you go to that link, you'll see that there's different sponsorship levels, and what you get in each of those, you can literally sign up for them right there. Okay. And then obviously, if you have any questions, there is an email link there as well. I can give it to you right now. It's actually Battle-Born Freedom LV. Battle-Born Freedom LV at gmail.com.
At Gmail, so that they can email that, and they can get more information about how they're able to register and pay. But you got to do this quickly, folks. The 15th is going to be the end of all the early bird specials. But regardless, even if you blow past this, you want to go to this conference. It's going to be amazing. And then the following week is the Mako Take.
Indeed.
The Mako Day is going to be January 17th. This is going to be the following week. So listen, your January's booked up. Do not make plans. Okay, yes. You're going to go first of all to the Battle-Born Freedom Conference. That's going to be on January 10th, right? Which is a Saturday, and again, that's going to be all day from 9 a.m. until evening time. So you're going to go to that, and then the following week, on January 17th, we have the Imago Day Conference, and keynote speaker Megan Basham. She's going to be there, and you're going to want to go to both of these events. So look, it's a busy January. Look, you want to win this fight. That's the bottom line. Do you want to become equipped so that you're able to move the goal forward? I mean, can we gain some ground on the enemy? These tools are going to be presented to you in these two conferences,
Indeed.
Both in Battle-Born Freedom and the Imago Day Conference.
Yep.
And you want to be a part. You want to be a part. Furthermore, as I've said many times before, your pastor, certainly this pastor, is encouraging you to take the gospel beyond the walls of your church, right? Yep. It's not just a good idea. It's not just pastor's idea. It's a commandment of the Lord. To love thy neighbor as your neighbor isn't in church. You have to go outside to go and get your neighbor. And that extends into politics. It extends into society. It extends into our school board. It extends throughout every aspect of our life. And so you need the tools. And these tools right here are going to be awesome. And again, especially the Battle-Born Freedom Conference for your pastors, you're going to get a discount so that you can be informed and be freed up to proclaim anything that you want to talk about, especially even politics or laws or anything, without fear of retribution from the government or the ACLU or Planned Parenthood or anybody else, or the progressives, whoever, because we have liberty. Indeed. And furthermore, there are wonderful organizations and lawyers that if there is a problem, like this coach that was praying with his football team in the middle of the football field during the football game, listen, there are organizations that are going to rise to your defense should there be any problem. But listen, we're living in an age of freedom right now, and we need to take advantage of those freedoms.
Absolutely. And remember, silence in the face of evil is evil itself. We do not have the luxury anymore of being silent. You must speak truth everywhere you go. In love, obviously.
Amen.
But you got to still speak it. The days of just being the silent majority are gone. Okay, because
right.
look at what it yielded us. Right, a corrupt government. So we cannot be silent anymore.
Yeah.
And now let me just touch on this. The sequencing of these two conferences is also, well, God ordained. Because if you think about it, the end goal is for us Christians is to make sure that we are honoring life, right?
Right.
And this question 6 is terrible. It's
Right.
absolutely terrible. So here's the deal. As Christians, we must rise up and defeat question 6. Because you guys realize they're not going the normal way to make it a law. They're not trying to pass it through the assembly and the Senate. They are literally going straight to a constitutional amendment. And if this passes the second time, this becomes part of the Constitution of Nevada, which is abortion at birth, abortion at term, no parental rights. And it also lowers the standard of care because then the people who are actually doing these abortions, they're not medical doctors. They can just actually be anyone in the quote unquote health field.
Yeah.
So like your tattoo artist could actually do an abortion for you.
Yeah, the wording is
That would
actually
be terrible.
healthcare professional has been
Yes.
the physician has been removed and replaced with healthcare professional can now
terrible.
procure abortions for your minor daughter.
All right.
It's insane.
It is. It is. So for us as, again, truly Jesus following people, we have to stop this. But how do we stop this? It has to be through the political mechanism, because that's the way we are. I mean, we are in a constitutional republic. The United States of America was founded by Christians to be a constitutional republic because it uses God, is on the foundation of his understanding. So we must show up, okay? And that's the reason why battle-born freedom comes first, is because you have to understand how to be involved as a citizen who actually participates in the governmental process.
Right.
You're gonna get all that training, and then the next week you'll learn all the things that the left has been saying about why question 6 should be good. So you'll be able to defeat it in argument, because then when you're with your neighbors and your friends who are for question 6, actually half of them didn't even know what was in the verbiage. They were just told, "Oh, it's for women's health," and so they voted for it. So lots of good Christians voted for it out of ignorance.
Right.
So we have to combat that by teaching them what this really is saying. And once they understand that, they'll be appalled. Okay?
Right.
The other half, though, well, that's more of a theological issue, because, there are many, how should I say it, progressive churches who are all of a sudden saying that, oh, actually, abortion, it's the women's choice.
Yeah.
I don't see that in the Bible anywhere.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Where does it say it's okay to murder somebody? I don't think so. Especially these are innocent human beings. They have not done one thing good or bad in their lives, because life starts at conception.
Amen.
So anyways.
And that's a medical fact as well. It's not just scriptural.
That's right.
I mean, the Lord does say that He formed us in the womb. Now, He did say that, so that trumps everything as far as I'm concerned.
Amen.
But biologically, our scientists, life begins at conception, and that's just a medical fact. And but this is going to be good. I'm going to throw this in for free. I've heard, I love Barton's and the Wall Builders. Absolutely amazing stuff. Great for your kids. Great, wonderful books. But there was an argument talking about this separation of church and state, and someone had mentioned, well, you know what? God is not mentioned at all in the United States Constitution. And I learned from Wall Builders that is incorrect, because as you read through the entire U.S. Constitution, yes, you will get to the very end of the Constitution, but then you have to read the last line, and it says, dated in the year of our Lord, 1776. So the Lord is in the United States Constitution after all.
Absolutely.
And of course it is, because our founding fathers were Christians who lived their faith. Imagine this, when we're talking about fear, about, persecution from the state or government or whatever it is. If our founding fathers believed that, we wouldn't be sitting here today. They gave everything for the liberties and freedoms that we are enjoying today. The least we could do is promote those principles from our pulpit.
Indeed.
And fight for them. And you're going to gain the tools at Battleborn Freedom Conference. It's coming up. And again, it's coming up on January 10th, Saturday, January 10th. And get yourself in. If you need more information, again, log into Facebook, Battleborn Freedom Conference. You can find it there. Or if you're viewing this on YouTube or Rumble or Facebook, you can scan the QR code and get more information that way and get yourself registered. And pastors, again, you've got a discount. Instead of $40, it's only $25. That's a wonderful gift for pastors. In fact, buy both Mr. and Mrs. Pastor a ticket so they can both go together. It's going to be fantastic. Indeed. And don't be surprised if it revolutionizes your church.
Indeed.
So that's great. Well,
okay.
Pastor Shaw, thank you so much for being here today.
It is truly my pleasure.
We're going to have you back as we get more news about, so far we haven't actually described the location yet, but as we solidify some of those facts and progress is being made, we want to bring you back and just inform the public of what God is working in our community, folks.
He is.
He sure is, and he's doing it through First Choice Pregnancy Services. So find out more about it from our website, fcpschampions.org. Right. But we'd love to bring you back and get more information about what God's doing.
Love to be back. Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me this morning.
God bless you.
Yeah, God bless you too.
Thank you. I want to take a moment to acknowledge one of the great sponsors of the Champions for Life radio broadcast, such as RTS Postal Express, for all your Las Vegas copy needs. Black and white copies, color copies, business cards, resumes, you name it. RTS Postal Express is going to meet your needs quickly. RTS stands for really terrific service. See my man, Angelo. Here's the telephone number, 702-489-4859. And if you mention the Champions for Life radio broadcast, get 10% off your first order. And welcome back, folks, to the Champions for Life radio broadcast. Just so delighted that Pastor Shaw, chairman of First Choice Pregnancy Services, with us today. An awesome guy. Kind of a recent appointment for him, as a matter of fact. Only been doing it a few months and already a perfect fit. And just wonderful things happening. Again, I can't stop praising the Lord for the prospect of us having a second clinic twice the size of this one, and this is a decent size clinic, and it's just, to be honest, part of me is a little worried that we're getting the second clinic at a time when maybe we're going to need it more because more women are going to be funneled to Las Vegas in our state because of whatever. But even though that is occurring, I am still very grateful the fact that First Choice is going to have a second clinic. So if you are a medical professional, please listen very, very closely. We are going to need staff for our second clinic. We need you. If you're a registered nurse, specifically a sonographer, or if you're a doctor that is able to write prescriptions, and even an OBGYN would be even preferred, but not required, please give First Choice Pregnancy Services a call. Now, maybe you have some administrative experience. We can absolutely use you as well. Or if you would just simply like to volunteer, we are going to need folks. We're going to need you. And so here's what you do. You say, Kenny, that's great. I want more information. That's what you want. You want more information. Give First Choice Pregnancy Services a call and say, listen, I want to volunteer. I want, I hear you're opening up another clinic. I'd like to be a part of it at some level. Give them a call. Here's the number, 702-294-CARE. Number's right at the bottom of your screen, 702-294-2273. And say, listen, I've got some medical experience. I'm a sonographer. I know how to listen. We're going to need you. Or I'm a registered nurse. Maybe I could learn sonography. Or if you're a doctor, doctors, we need you. It's just that simple. And we have a clinic, and God is going to use it, and God can use you and your expertise as well. You want to be blessed? Listen, I'm going to tell you the truth. Folks that have become a part of what First Choice is doing are living in that blessing, are living it. I mentioned this last week. I remember part of the side blessing, but really it's the main blessing of being able to hold a child in my arms that was, a product of what of my pro-life ministry. And what a blessing that is. I mean, you're holding an actual life. And this happens day after day after day at First Choice. Children are alive. You gain hero status just by being a volunteer, let alone an employee of First Choice Pregnancy Services. And you want to be a part. Not only do you want to be a part, you want to be an ambassador. We mentioned this before. First Choice, we don't want to be the best kept secret in Las Vegas or in our state or in the United States for that matter. Our clinic exists to be able to help women that are facing crisis pregnancies. We exist because we're the only place, actually, the only freestanding clinic that offers abortion reversal services. So, for example, if you or someone that you know have just taken the abortion drug, mifepristone, and they have changed their mind or had a change of heart, or perhaps you've surreptitiously been giving these drugs and you didn't want them, you need to give First Choice a call immediately. There are children alive today from our clinic that are a product of us being able to reverse the effects of the abortion drug. Isn't that a miracle? It's just a miracle. And those miracles are happening right here at First Choice. You can be a part. So write this number down. You're going to need it, 702-294-CARE. That's 294-2273. Or look us up on the web, fcpschampions.org. And FCPS stands for First Choice Pregnancy Services. Our clinic has been here 20 years. I think we're about to crest 47,000 if we haven't done so already. 47,000 children are alive today. 47,000 are alive today because First Choice exists. It's just amazing. A staggering number of children who are alive because you care. You care enough to make sure that First Choice is funded, staffed, prayed for. You're the hero. You are the champion. And I just can't thank you enough. So, again, I want to mention the fact that Battleborn Freedom Conference coming up on January 10th, Saturday, January 10th. It's going to be an all-day event from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And if you go VIP, it goes all the way to 8 p.m. So they're going to serve you breakfast and lunch, both that's just for the early bird $40. You get most of everything, right? But if you pay the $225, you're going to get dinner as well, and you're going to get dinner with one of the speakers at the conference sitting at your table. I mean, it's just going to be awesome. They're going to take, who knows who you're going to be able to talk to. Probably going to talk to Tim Barton. I think I would love to speak with him. I think it's just fascinating. And not only that, the American Journey Conference for another $20, they're going to have artifacts from our founding fathers that you'll be able to view and see, artifacts that really our youth should see about, things that were fundamental to the formation of our country. And it's going to be awesome. I'm so looking forward to this. And again, if you'd like more information, right now there's no number to call for the Battleborn Freedom Conference. However, if you log into Facebook and put in the search engine, Battleborn Freedom Conference, the Facebook page will come up where you can get registered and get all more information. And there's a QR code there as well. If you're listening to this broadcast on Rumble, of course, obviously you have the QR code there as well. So that's coming up, folks. Listen, January 10th, it's right away. And the early bird discounts are going to end on the 15th of this month. That's just a few days away. So you want to take advantage of those, especially if you're going to do the VIP access. The early bird is $225 per person. That's going to cover everything. You're going to have breakfast, lunch, dinner. Then you're going to get to speak and sit and have dinner with one of these fabulous speakers. It's going to be so good. It's just going to be so good. So you want that. And then the following week, on January 17th, the Imago Dei Conference. Do we have that graphic? The Imago Dei Conference is coming up. Keynote speaker is going to be Megan Bashan. She was a cultural reporter for the Daily Wire, also served as a film and television editor for World Magazine. And her second book, which I imagine is going to be the topic for the Imago Dei when she speaks, is going to be Shepherds for Sale, How Evangelical Leaders Traded the Truth for a Leftist Agenda. I'm going to try and see if I can get this book read before the conference, because I certainly want to know this book that she wrote. It brought a lot of heat. There was a lot of heat for this book, and they don't care, and she didn't care, and because it's true. As far as Christian denominations go, as far as evangelical churches, this progressive leftist gospel, if you will, has seeped into these churches as well. And if you've bypassed that, then there are churches where fear has crept in, because, I can't talk about, question 6. I can't talk about abortion, even though the Bible does, right? I can't talk about it because, I could lose my 501c3 status, and, then where would I be, right? And so there was a fear. And listen, at the Imago Dei Conference and also at the Battleborn Freedom Conference, you're going to find out that these fears are unfounded. And even if these fears were real, which they're not, God has not given us a spirit of fear, right? He's given us a spirit to be able to conquer and to share and to impact our culture with the gospel. And the gospel is truth and is light and is freedom and liberty. And you're going to find out a lot more about this at the Battleborn Freedom Conference and the Imago Dei Conference. Again, the Battleborn Freedom Conference, January 10th, and the following week, Imago Dei Conference, January 17th. Both of them you need to be at. Both of them are going to be staffed by wonderful folks, keynote speakers just galore, and you're going to have a great time. We're going to be, Lord willing, we're going to be at both. I know we're going to be at the Imago Dei Conference. 40 Days for Life is going to be there. First Choice Pregnancy Service is going to be there. In fact, if you have a pro-life ministry, if you're a pro-life anything, they are going to be. I'll have a table at the Imago Dei Conference. So 40 Days is going to be there, and it's going to be awesome. It's just going to be an awesome, awesome day. I want to take a moment to acknowledge one of the great sponsors that make this portion of the broadcast possible, and that's Dr. Ray Kelly of Kelly Chiropractic. Treats injuries from falls, accidents, motor vehicle crashes, work-related incidents. For those of you who are suffering from allergies, he also has a procedure called acutherapy, going to treat your allergies and ease some of that discomfort. Accepts most forms of insurance. Been in the business over 33 years here in Las Vegas. Give him a call. Set up your appointment. The number is 702-870-9200. In the time remaining, I want to share a little bit of good news. The First U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals on Monday overruled a preliminary injunction from liberal U.S. District Judge Talwani that allowed a federal provision to defund the Planned Parenthood abortion business through Medicaid to take effect and continue during ongoing litigation. But guess what? That injunction has been overturned by the First U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. And so now, and the big, beautiful bill, which defunded Planned Parenthood through Medicare, is now going to take effect. So they're going to lose, Planned Parenthood is going to lose even more money. And that means less of your dollars are going to be going towards the abortion business, the abortion industry. So that is very, very good news. So that's fantastic. We're praising the Lord for that. And also, 2 days ago, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, Office for Civil Rights, the OCR, launched a major investigation, this is good, into a state health department to assess whether its licensing practices, interpretations, or enforcement practices for behavioral health residential facilities and licensed behavioral health personnel violate federal law by discriminating against faith-based organizations in the administration and or enforcement of licensing requirements, requiring any facilitation of sex-rejecting procedures or female genital mutilation, and treating religious objections as grounds for adverse licensure action, including denial or termination of professional licenses. What that basically means is, as you well know, that there is a plethora of money available for those doctors who are advocating or performing sex change operations, including for minors, for children. And so there are a lot of medical schools and training facilities that are requiring to teach these doctors how these procedures are done. There are some doctors that are coming up through the medical school that have no desire to know anything about any of this, right? This is not what they signed up for. Furthermore, if they object to learning how to perform an abortion, because in a lot of these schools, they show how and are training their doctors how to perform abortions. And there's a lot of, there's a lot of great doctors out there that say, no, I've come to preserve. The Hippocratic Oath says that I will not do abortions, right? They have an objection via conscience or the religious faith that they do not wish to take part in this, in their training to become a doctor in abortion. So the HHS is now going to be investigating whether these aspiring medical students are facing discrimination based based on any of this criteria that's being put forth by the institutions that are training them. And so this is a very, very good thing. Discriminating against institutional and or individual healthcare entities for their religious objections to provide, pay for, or provide coverage for, or refer for abortion, including through licensing, certification, or other determinations of legal status or participation, or requiring any individual in a health service program funded by the HHS to perform or assist in the performance of services contrary to that individual's religious belief or moral convictions, including counseling or other assistance related to abortion, sex-rejecting procedures, or FGM, which is female genital mutilation. And says Paula Stannard, who is the Office of Civil Rights Director for the Health and Human Services, she said, amid a national shortage of behavioral health providers, every qualified professional is essential to meeting the needs of the people in crisis. OCR is committed to ensuring that faith-based organizations can contribute fully and that no provider is asked to violate their religious belief or moral convictions as they step forward to serve. So here's the thing. If you believe that you or someone else has been discriminated against because of their faith or race, color, national origin, age, sex, whatever, they are urging you, the Health and Human Services Department, through their Office of Civil Rights, is urging you to contact them and file a complaint in a case, and they will investigate it. Because, listen, we want our doctors to be free of the progressive agenda, right? They don't, if a trainee does not want to perform abortion, they should not be required to in order to obtain a medical license. This is a very, very good thing. And more good news. 2 days ago, U.S. Senator James Lankford, Republican out of Oklahoma, introduced the Conscience Protections for Medical Residents Act. This bill is so hot off the press, it doesn't even have a number yet. But this legislation ensures that medical students and residents are never pressured or coerced into abortion training that violates their moral or religious beliefs, and it establishes clear federal protections so that residents are not forced to choose between their conscience and their careers. Said Representative Lankford, medical residents should never be pressured to violate their beliefs in order to finish their training or advance in their careers. We went into medicine to protect life, not take it. And no one should have to choose between their conscience and their future in medicine. Our bill makes clear and ensures medical students and residents can follow their convictions as they care for their patients, said co-sponsor Congressman Greg Murphy, who is a doctor, by the way, said medical residents should not be compelled to participate in abortion training if it violates their conscience. Opting out of such training enables potential retaliation by faculty who have enormous power over residents and their success. Understand what it is. Basically, it's a doctor in training, right? And they do. If you're in a school or a university that's training you up, and they're having classes that show you how to perform an abortion, yet you opt out of it. Guess what? There's a stigma involved, and how far does that go? And do these residents, these doctor trainees, are they inhibited for getting some of these positions or favor due to the fact that they are refusing to perform or train for abortion? That's what this bill stops. He said pursuing an elective abortion is not the same as receiving life-saving care, said Dr. and Congressman Greg Murphy. Such as miscarriages or ectopic pregnancies, and training should reflect that. This issue is about restoring a non-ideological education environment where individuals do not fear expressing moral or religious objections, right? And the beautiful thing about this is they're going to introduce an opt-in requirement. Right now, the way it's set up, if you're at a university or such, you have to opt out of this, procedure training for abortion or female genital mutilation or any of these other things. You have to opt out, right? Well, if this bill passes, doctors would then have to, or trainees, residents would have to opt in order to learn how to do these procedures that are morally objective to many. You would have to opt in to be able to be trained for abortions and all the rest. And this bill is a very good piece of legislation. So this is good. When we get a bill number on this, we will let you know. In fact, you can call your Congress critters here in the state of Nevada, and you tell them, say, this bill's coming down the pike. We support it. We're in favor of it. And we need to listen, because you can bet that our representatives here in the state of Nevada are not interested in passing this. But guess what? If you make enough phone calls and send them emails and say, look, we support this, I expect you to do the same to reflect our position as you are my representative, perhaps you can persuade them to vote in favor of this very, very good piece of legislation. So just good news today, Max. Just good news today, But the biggie is opening up our second clinic. It's just such good news. Just such good news. I'm just so delighted to have Pastor Shaw here, chairman here at First Choice Pregnancy Services, making it happen. I mean, part of his jacket was kind of fading away. He had a wonderful Christmas jacket. But I mean, it had the little green Christmas trees, and if you saw that it was sparkling, it wasn't as sparkly. You could almost see through the Christmas trees into the background. Well, but that's okay. It's only if you're watching us on YouTube or Rumble. But I have to be careful not to wear green here on the Champions for Life podcast radio broadcast. So. Yes, but obviously the greatest thing is going to be opening up that second clinic. I'm so looking forward to it. Actually, I know the location, but I can't tell you. I know where it's going to be. I mean, this really literally is hot off the press. This is very recent news. And we're just thankful that God is perfect place too. It's just the perfect location. And it's going to be good. It's going to be really, really good. And I believe God's going to bless it. And again, it's going to be twice the size. And Max loves this. We've been promised a new studio. This is it's going to be good. It's going to be good. But the thing is, what the problem is, Max? You see, you don't see this coming. See, I see this coming. What's going to happen is the hostess of the show is going to make design restrictions, if you will, and accommodations on the it may not be exactly the way you think it's going to be, but it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be beautiful. I don't think we'll have to worry about a green screen. We'll have so much room. We'll just make it an entire room, a nice studio. It's going to be fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. I really am looking forward to it. So, of course, Christmas is coming up, hoping that you're getting most of your Christmas shopping done and everything. But one of the Christmas gifts that I urge you to make for your pastor is to get him to the Battleborn Freedom Conference. This is going to be the speakers are just fantastic. This is, I'm hoping, I should have asked, and I'll find out, but hopefully they're going to be videotaping the entire conference. and then making it available to folks, because this type of information that's going to be, delivered to the folks at the conference is timeless and important. And we want everybody to learn, not just folks that have paid. But the beautiful thing about this is you're going to be able to meet some of these great speakers like Rick Green, Tim Barton, Steve Dace, Bill Federer is going to be awesome. Haram Sassars won that wonderful case for that coach out there in, was it Minnesota, right? Who's praying on the football field and then got fired for praying with his team. Crazy. Starvis Anthony, Melissa Clement, of course, Nevada Right to Life chairperson. Pastor Greg Seymour is going to be in there. Tanya Atterbury, who's been on this broadcast, right, talking to us about keeping an eye on our public school legislation. Even when your Nevada legislature is not in session, your school board is. And they're always writing and passing laws and doing all kinds of stuff. And so Tanya makes sure that she stays on top of that. Plus, she has access to be able to show you how you can have books that, you don't want little Johnny and little Susie reading. Have those removed from your school's library. It's going to be awesome. Battleborn Freedom Conference coming up January 10th. Get more information. It's on Facebook, Battleborn Freedom Conference. And if you're listening on YouTube, you have the QR code or Rumble. It's going to be awesome. And we'll, of course, and Imago Day the following week on January 17th. So get Imago Day Conference, IMAGODEI conference.com, Imago Day Conference, and get yourself signed up, registered, and we'll see you, Lord willing, at both. And that's it. We've come to the end of the broadcast. Listen, if you have questions about anything, or if you need assistance by First Choice Pregnancy Services, give us a call. Our number is 702-294-CARE. And remember, you can be a champion for life.